Hello everybody, and welcome to the Rocky and Derrick Show. If you like our interviews, please visit our website, rockyandderrick.com, and visit our photo and video galleries. If you want to support us, we have a sponsor, Origin PC, link in the description. Today we're here at Weatherspoon Art Museum with
Nancy Dahl.
Who does?
I'm the director.
What do you direct?
Well, I direct everything about the museum. So we have an exhibition program. We do about 14 exhibitions every year in our 6 different galleries. We have an education program. We do tours for children, adults, college students, and then standalone programs, films and lectures and things like that. And then we have a collection, a permanent collection of about 6,000 works of art, so we have to care for and maintain that. I'm responsible for fundraising for the budget. It's kind of a big job.
How long have you been working here?
I've worked here for 19 years, and I moved here from Santa Barbara, California. But I was recruited for this position, and I was impressed by the facility and by the collection.
Have you always been the director?
I've been a curator too, and what curators do are they're the ones who organize the exhibitions. I oversee that, and sometimes I have worked as a curator too, so it was my responsibility to work with developing exhibitions. Sometimes we take an exhibition that's traveling from another museum, and then also overseeing the collection.
Have you always wanted to work here?
Have I always wanted to work here? No, I didn't always know about the Weatherspoon, but I did know about it, at some point in my career. And like I said, when they recruited me to come and interview for the job, they selected me out of the candidates, and I decided to come.
Does it cost to get into the museum?
No, we're free. We have a suggested donation of $3 for an adult, but we're free. All of our programs are free, with a very rare exception. Like we're presenting a course on contemporary art in April, and people have to pay for that, but otherwise we're free. And we do a lot with, we try to bring artists here. We have an opening this afternoon she's a local artist. She lives here in Greensboro, and she's also a big art collector. So the people who organized the exhibition included her work and work from her own personal art collection too. So it's really fun. Maybe you'll stay for it.
Do you think you'll be still working here in 2 years?
In 2 years? Could be. Yeah, I'm not sure. I am thinking about retirement, but I haven't quite decided when that will be yet.
What is your favorite art piece here?
Well, we have a painting by a very famous artist who was one of the abstract expressionists in the 1940s and 50s. His name is Willem de Kooning, and he did a series, actually 3 series of woman paintings, and our piece comes from the 3 middle paintings that he did, and ours was the last, and it's a very important and significant piece. And the best thing is that it was painted in 1949-50, and they acquired it. That is, they purchased it in 1954. So that had they had a lot of insight to do that because it's a very important and valuable painting now.
What do you like most about your job?
Working with artists and being around art all the time. You know, many years ago, when I was working for a very small university gallery, there was a program where someone from another museum, someone more established, would come in and talk to you about what you were doing. And I always remember, his name was Carl Belts, and Carl said to me, "Don't ever forget why you're in the business," and that's art and artists. And that's always stuck with me. And if I'm tired at my desk, or I'm frustrated, or I feel like I've reached a dead end in something, I'll just walk down to a gallery and spend 5 minutes looking at a few pieces, and it makes me feel all that much better.
What is the most popular painting in the museum?
Well, again, I think our de Kooning, just because it's important and it's really significant. We also have some prints by an artist, a French artist named Henri Matisse in French, and people like those very, very much as well.
Is there different members that work here?
Pardon me?
Is there different members that works here with you?
How many staff? We have 13 full-time and 2 part-time people. It's not a big staff for all that we do.
How long has the museum been around?
It was founded in 1941, so it's grown a lot since those early days, but we celebrated our 75th anniversary in 2016, and now we're pushing on towards 80. This building was built in 1989. It opened in 1989. The gallery had been around campus in a few different places, and then was settled for a while in the McKeever building, which is across the street from here. And it's a building that's going to be torn down now to make room for a new school of nursing. But the collection was growing, and it got to a point where they really needed to professionalize the staff and establish the kinds of policies and procedures that would take care of the collection particularly. So that's when they had a lead gift, that is a gift that got the ball rolling, from Anne and Benjamin Cone. And that's the same Cone family of Cone Boulevard and Moses Cone Hospital.
What does it mean if a paint is important?
Well, it's important because it's important within the historical thread of art, and it's important also within that particular artist's many works. So it may not be the most important of Willem de Kooning's works, but it's certainly a very important piece.
Do you still have a painting from 1941?
No, they weren't collecting too much that early on, but we do have some early pieces that we bought very soon after they were made. We have an Alexander Calder mobile. You know, it hangs from the ceiling, and just the air in the room causes it to move around. And that was done in 1950, and they purchased it in 1951. So the museum's always tried to put its thumb on what's important in a particular period of time, and we hope we're still doing that kind of work now.
Will we be able to see it?
No, not today. It's in the vault. We have a vault where we store the work that isn't on view. Sorry about that.
What is the most expensive painting that the museum has bought?
That it ever paid for, or what it's worth now?
That it ever paid for?
That's a good question. We've paid as much as $120,000 for sculpture. That's probably the most we've paid for anything.
How long is each exhibit displayed?
That's a good question. It's usually a minimum of 12 weeks, and sometimes it can go to 18 or 20 weeks. It kind of depends. But it's a minimum usually of 11 or 12 weeks, because it takes a lot to put an exhibition up. If it's a show where we're borrowing work, we have to make loan requests to the people who own the work. We have to make shipping arrangements to have the work brought here. Then we have to install it. We have to advertise for it. We have to build education programs around it. So there's a lot to each exhibition, and we don't want to just put it up for 3 weeks.
How do you decide what exhibition is going to be showed?
Well, we have 4 curators, a curator for exhibitions, a curator for education, and two curators for education and 1 for the collection. And we meet monthly. And sometimes we get proposals from other museums that we evaluate. And then someone might have an idea for developing an exhibition. And we try to have a balance between solo, that is, exhibitions of work by the same artist, or group exhibitions. We have tried, I think successfully in recent years, to both show and purchase work by women artists, by African American artists, by Latino artists, and we feel that's important because it reflects the community. And we feel we're part of the community. We do a lot of work to reach out. We work with Casa Azul, and we work with the Greensboro Public Library, and
Do you have any upcoming artists that'll be coming here?
we do. There's an artist downstairs by the name of Sanford Biggers, and when we booked his show, I mean, he had a good reputation, but since then, his career is really taking off. He was the subject of about a 10-page article in a national magazine called The New Yorker, and he's being tapped for major exhibitions at other museums. So we feel fortunate that we were still able to get him.
Will we be able to see him?
That's downstairs. I think those galleries will be open, but maybe only until 4 o'clock.
How can people get in contact with you?
Well, we have a website. It's weatherspoon.uncg.edu. And when you go to it, you can look up exhibitions, collections. You can see past exhibitions, current exhibitions, future exhibitions, educational programs. There's an event calendar. You can find out how to become a member. It's a pretty full site.
In your own words, what kind of advice would you give the kids?
In general, or who want to go into art? In general. Try to find your own way. Don't follow the crowd, and stick to it. And that pathway might veer and take some turns, and you may have to adjust it as you go, but I think it's important to try to do that.
Well, that's it for today, guys. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, and if you like our interview and want to become a sponsor, go to our website, rockyderrickshow.com.
Me twice.